Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Far From Pro podcast. I am your host, Evan Walsh, and with me is my co-host, Joseph Meyer. We got a great one today for you folks. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to dive into, but more importantly, on the second half of the episode, we have an interview with a 19-year-old professional soccer player. You heard that here first. He has signed with the Minnesota United FC team.
The Loons.
So we'll get into that more in the second half of the podcast. But for now, let's worry about us. Joseph, we're going to get into Hot or Not right away. That's what we're going to start off with. I want you to kick off Hot or Not for us. What do you got for us this week?
So for me, last night was a great night. I don't know if you've been to Applebee's Half Apps before.
Oh, here we go.
But I had not been to Half Apps in a while. And it just reminded me of how great a time it is. Go with your boys, you sit down, share a good time, share some laughs, and share some, not great food, but it's half priced. It's Applebee's. You got that low, dim lighting.
No doubt about it.
Applebee's gets a lot of shame, but when they have the half apps, you can't beat them. I choose to go for the quesadilla. It might be a hot take. You can also go. The mozzarella sticks are never a miss. The wings are never a miss.
The half apps are good. You can never go wrong with it. The only problem is when you have to wait about fucking an hour and a half for your food. That's when things start getting thrown up in the air, Joseph. That's when questions start arising.
I did not have that experience. I have not had that experience.
I mean, then again though, this is also my experience of going after like football games when there's like 50 kids at I always have that a high standard expectation, which really is too much for me. I really shouldn't be doing that, but especially not when you're going to eating good in the neighborhood, Applebee's.
Eating good in the neighborhood, Applebee's.
Regardless of that was a great hot. I actually really like that hot. I'm gonna move into the NBA a little bit with my hot. I'm going with the Boston Celtics. As of right now, if you told me I had to pick a team to win the finals right now, this is my pick. This team has been playing offensively amazingly.
Really?
Their defense has stepped it up. I believe they're number one in offense, number 3 in defense. That makes them number 1 net overall for efficiency, if you look at the efficiency landscape. I think the Boston Celtics have a great team. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are starting to really connect and play together, which is dangerous because those two are complete superstars. You have everyone on their team playing their roles. Obviously, Robert Williams went down for them, but he's still going to be able to hopefully come back for later in the playoffs, which is going to be huge. He's the anchor of their defense. With Grant Williams and Marcus Smart is starting to play like a true point guard. I really believe this Boston Celtics team is going to be special. We need to keep our eyes out for them. They're the number 1 team in the East right now.
Title pick.
We will see. We will see how they do. We will see how things go. But I really strongly believe that the Boston Celtics will be, maybe not now, but in the near future, finals champions for sure. For sure.
Even out of that East, man. Wow. I
agree.
That's a hot take, but I like it.
I think it was bold of me now looking back, thinking about the East, but still overall, I'm taking that Boston Celtics team's a really special team. I really think they got something special going over in Boston.
They're 8-2 in their last 10, so that's solid. We'll get more into the NBA, but I think that's a nice pick. We'll get more into the NBA later, but we're coming down the stretch here, and it's whoever finishes hot is who's going to win it all. I got another hot here, and this is modern medicine, okay? And this is going to go towards my guy Tiger Woods, okay?
Okay, here we go.
This man, a year ago, should have died. Let's be honest. He should be dead. We've all seen the crash. He should be dead. And then this week, I'm playing the Masters. That doesn't happen 30, 40 years ago. It just doesn't happen.
Joseph. He is one of a kind.
That's just willpower right there.
That's just one medicine, and more than the rest.
I'm pretty sure his leg was supposed to be amputated or something like that.
They were looking to amputate his leg. And
wow.
It's so crazy to think that this guy a year ago was, like you said, looking at his leg amputated. Now this week's going to be playing in the biggest golf event in the world. So the guy is truly one of a kind. He's a special man.
You know what's blasphemous though? There are people who are putting absurd amount of money on him to win it.
Well, you know what I mean. If you
I can't get on board with that,
Joseph. Back then, if you would have taken that bet in like 2005, It's a different ball
Well,
game,
yeah.
Joseph. Now, we are in 2022, and I think those old Tiger lovers are still kind of just like, well, we'll see. You know, I mean, I can't lie to you, Joseph. You know what? I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not going to get it right now. I'm going to give you a knot this week.
All right. What's your knot?
This knot is we're going back a little bit. About a couple weeks ago, we talked about Pete Davidson on our 100 knots. I'm bringing him as a knot this week. He was spotted driving around with Northwest, Kanye's daughter. I don't know why the people seem to even give that information out. Like, who really cares? But I saw that, and I'm trying to think. I mean, if you look on top of it, it's hard because when you're on the outside and you're not really looking in, it's so hard to like know what's really going on, what things are really being said, you know,
Right.
what is happening. But from what I've seen, it seems that because Kanye attacked Skeet a little bit, he took some shots back, and now he's hanging out with his daughter, which is fine when you're dating the mom of those daughters. It's, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Do I think that media should make a big deal out of it? No, definitely not. I mean, Kanye's going through it right now as if we clearly couldn't tell. And I personally just think that I threw Skeet on my knot because I think Skeet should be a lot better guy, a lot more realizing that Kanye is losing his wife and not really getting much access to his kids from what we know. He's going through a hard time. I think he needs to be a little more sensitive and understand what he's doing. So I'm throwing Pete on my knot this week. I'm a big Kanye fan, so it's a little biased, but I'm putting him on my knot.
Riddle me this, right? In theory, right? Her name's Northwest, right? Get it like cardinal direction, right? I think that was the whole, we're going to be trendy. Right?
Right.
Riddle me this. Kim K and Pete Davidson get married. Does Northwest Davidson?
Where's the riddle?
I don't know.
Well, okay, let's assume they get married. First off, the kids would not get hyphenated names. That would never happen. They would be just West.
You think you can never put anything past the Kardashians,
I know.
bro.
It would be West. It's not. It would be West. If they put West Davidson, that's gonna be a fucking problem. West. That's it. All right, you got a knot for us, Joseph. We're moving on.
I do have a knot. This knot is for my good fans of my fellow fans of the Cowboys, maybe the Yankees, maybe Duke basketball, possibly the Warriors too, but all the bandwagon teams. They tend to all like the same, they like the same teams. And this week their favorite LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers were eliminated from the playoffs.
This one.
It's just a good feeling, man. It's just a good feeling. Nothing. I just love hating on bandwagon teams. The Lakers,
king of it.
They were people saying they were going to win the title this year, and now they're not even making, not just the playoffs. They are not making the play-in. It's a good day. It's a good day for those of us who do not like bandwagon.
That's a great take, Joseph. That is a great knot. I was gonna put it up there, but I was gonna spare them. I did see, there's a lot of controversy to it. It's like, well, they had more starting lineups than they had wins. They had a bunch of injuries. A bunch of things just didn't work. I mean, here at the end of the day, you had Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. You got to win. You have to win a lot more than 31 games. That team, even with the injuries and everything they had and everything was going through, that is a 40 to 55 win team. If they realistically, they're a 40 to 55 win team.
If you can realistically convince me that the Spurs have a better roster, even when the Lakers are injured,
exactly.
No shot. Yes, they have the greatest coach of all time, arguably, but
it's so hard. I mean, I see them. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the offseason, what head coach they're going to hire, whether they're going to keep Russ. I'm interested to see what they're going to do now. But yeah, not making the play-in is just the most unbelievable thing.
It's so embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing. They're going to get reamed on that for years and years and years.
It does not help LeBron's legacy.
No,
sure.
No one's going to let LeBron
live
this one down. That is for sure.
LeBron.
No doubt about that. Yeah, let's move into some topics here. Let's get some talk going. I want to get us moving. I want to give a little Masters preview for the people. So Joseph doesn't know too much about golf, but he's gonna give us what he can. All right. I've been keeping up with golf for probably like 2 years now, so I don't know that much about the game, but I'm learning. And for the Masters preview, I will be dropping
Most
my
important
picks
event.
each day. I will be gambling on Prize Picks. Not an ad, but that is what I will be using. For anyone living in Minnesota or
Use Prize Picks too.
or participating states,
I like it.
I will be using that for my picks this week. So feel free to download. Feel free to do what you gotta do to keep up with the picks. I'll be posting them on the story. There's a lot to look at this week. Tiger looks like he's playing. Obviously a great thing for golf. That is one of the best thing that could happen to golf is having Tiger back, especially we just talked about it, And
biggest name by
right
far.
now his line is set at 73.5 for his first round on Thursday. I'm hitting the under on that with Tiger. I believe in Tiger. I'm putting my money on Tiger. I see the thing is with Tiger. Here's the thing. I don't see Tiger Woods going into a tournament or an event not being ready. You know what I mean? If he's joined this thing, he's ready to rock, and he's going to go take over. So I see him shooting a lot better than a 73 or under. I think he's going to come in ready to rock, hot, and roll. I also think another eye to keep out is Jordan Spieth and Brooks Koepka. Okay? Those are my other two hot picks this week. I have Brooks to win it. That's my winner. I think Brooks is due for a Masters win. I think he's hot. I think he's a stud, and I think Brooks Koepka is really going to show out this week. I think him and Jordan Spieth are two people to look out for. I will be betting on them this week.
How about your guy? How you feeling about your guy Morikawa? Your favorite?
Here's my thing with Morikawa right now. He's hotter than a pistol, and I think if he plays well, obviously he can. We'll see what he can do, but I just think he's so young. He has so much time. Some of these guys, when they come to the Masters, they don't they got to win. They want that. They got to get that goddamn green jacket. I mean, Morikawa was like 25 years old, however old. He's a young guy. He's got plenty of time. He's going to be playing this Masters for years. Some of these guys who are in their prime, they got to get rolling. They got to get a Masters win. They got to get a green jacket. And I just would love to see someone like Jordan Spieth or Koepka pull it off. I mean, I really would. I would love to see Koepka pull it off. What do you think, Joseph? Who do you got? Who are you picking?
I mean, the Masters, for someone who doesn't follow golf religiously, and I do need to get into it more. I just honestly, with all the other sports, I just never have time. But the Masters is just there's just something different. You don't even have to know a single thing about golf, and the Masters is entertaining. It's just the scene, the storylines, the Augusta National, mid-April views from Georgia. I mean, it's a great event. I'm going to be watching it, even though I have really no idea what's going on. It doesn't matter. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch those guys go out there and just smack some balls around. I love it.
Couldn't agree more, Joseph. Have you ever been to a PGA Tour event before?
I have. I went to the Shell Open in Houston. I don't think they have it anymore. I think it's now defunct. But it was. I think who won? I think Spieth won it that year.
It's such a great. Being at a PGA Tour golf,
it's fun.
It's so fun.
It's
fun. You're gonna go down probably $500, but good God, the food is amazing. The drinks are amazing. Walking around you're able to walk with the players. It's like you're there with them on the course. I love PGA events. I'm 3M in Minnesota. I will be there. We will find a way to get there, Joseph. Hopefully, I'm hoping that's our first live YouTube video where we just get footage live. I'm hoping to get some interviews there, maybe heckle some golfers. Do what we need to do. That's the plan.
Like
I need to figure out the camera work though and how that's gonna work because I don't even know what I plan on doing. I might even just grab my iPhone and just took a video of that. I don't know.
Hey, that works.
We don't know, Joseph.
Get some live PGA Tour.
Oh yeah, we're gonna run into some people, get some interviews of some random people. Anyhow, moving along here. So that's basically what we got for our Masters talk and our golf talk here. I think let's move on. I want to talk a little NBA, little playoffs preview. So this is the last week of the regular season here.
Yep, Sunday's the last day, I believe.
Sunday's the last day. A lot of them are makeup games. Really, they should have been sooner. There's gonna be a lot of makeup games. So I'm looking here. I'm looking at this like the landscape of the NBA sort of and what we're looking at. Few things are really pop out to me, I would say. I'm going to start off with the Nets. I think all of us at the beginning of the season, with Harden going there and just like that team in general, I think we all had higher expectations. I think we expected them to be a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, maybe a 5 seed. For them to be this low is really, it is what it is.
Yeah.
However, I think we should be more concerned about if Kyrie and Katie, if they can play as well together.
If they're playing, dude.
If they can play as well together as they know they can, as people have seen them play, I think the league is screwed. Because now Kyrie's fully eligible. He doesn't have to worry about the vaccine. He's there for away games. They got Seth Curry, and then I hope Ben Simmons comes back. I hope they win the play-in tournament.
Yeah, they said he's out for the play-in.
I hope he comes back for the playoffs, bro. I think that would just, I don't know.
It'd be exciting.
I like Ben Simmons.
Dude needs to get off the bench.
How do you feel about Ben
too,
Simmons?
but
Tell me.
He needs to just get off the bench. Like, I mean, at this point, it's been what, a year? Like, come on.
Well over a year. Yeah, people are getting.
You're
they just need to.
You're a professional basketball player.
Yeah, they paid you, and he's getting paid big bucks. He needs to go out there and ball out. He's good too. He's good,
dude. Think. I mean, yes, I understand. There's mental health. There's health. Whatever. But I mean, look what people are doing. I mean, guys are coming back from horrid injuries and playing the next year. Guys like Cam Akers are coming back from torn Achilles and playing in the same year. So let's get on the court, Ben. Let's go try to win a championship for your team. You don't have to be a great player. You can literally just sit there, pass the ball, dish the ball, drive to the net, get some rebounds, play some defense. That's all you got to do. They're the 8th seed right now.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely wouldn't be. You wouldn't have had these setbacks and these back injuries if you wouldn't have been sitting down on your couch all day. And instead, you would have been playing basketball and training. Because I'm telling you what, probably not good for your back to be sitting on your couch or all day and not doing anything with it. I guarantee it.
And Cheeto Puffs and sitting on the couch and
fucking A-Ben, dude. Just get your fucking ass
up
and
he's
go
probably
play,
just watching
dude.
like.
That's nothing else. There's nothing else
he's
to
like,
it.
Sitting on Twitter, like scrolling through all the hate, like.
God, no wonder why you're depressed and sad. You know what? And
get on the court, dude. You're a professional.
It's so hard
player.
for us to say because we're just these freaking teenage kids just talking shit on the internet.
I mean, I respect his decision not to play, but there are guys who have dealt with much worse.
Much worse.
Karl Anthony Towns had his entire family pass away from COVID, and he's still out there balling. Okay, there's not really any excuse if you can do that. So, I mean, I respect Ben Simmons to sit.
Get it together,
get
dude.
on the court.
We got shit to do.
The play-in's really interesting. What do you think about the play-in? What are your thoughts about the play-in? It's been the 3rd year now that we've had the play-in.
It's just like really interesting to see. Like it's just like I like it, to be honest. I think it gives more basketball, gives the 9 and 10 a chance. It just makes it more fun. It gives more because here's the deal. When you're a 7 and 8 seed, do you really deserve to be in the playoffs? Like if you end the season at the 7 and 8, like let's see if you really deserve to be in here with all the, because to be honest, that's 7 through 10. You can really end up at any of those seeds throughout the year through injuries, through different circumstances. So really to really prove it at the end of the year, I think I like it. Yeah. I like the plan.
I like how it raises the stakes. I mean, we've got, the Lakers are 7 games back from the Clippers right now. So they would have been eliminated a long time ago if there was no play-in. So we were still talking about who's going to get in, who's going to get out. All the teams that are going to make the play-in are now set. The Spurs are in, and so are the Hornets in the East. I really like it in the East, though. We've got the Cavaliers are 7, Brooklyn Nets are 8, Hawks are 9, Hornets are 10. Mm-hmm. Hawks and Hornets are really interesting teams. I mean, we talk about how stacked the East is this year. Those are fun teams to watch.
Those are the 2 sleeper teams.
Those are fun teams to watch. And in previous years, they're just not. They don't have a shot at the playoffs. Exactly. And even if they do, they got to play the 1 seed right away. So I think it's really good. The West, it's like does it really matter in the West? Like the Pelicans, I guess, are okay. The Spurs are Like I think it's basically the Timberwolves and then 3 other meh teams in the play-in, because the Timberwolves are 7 games up of the 8 seed. Right. So I like the play-in, especially this year for the East, because it adds a lot of more interesting teams. It's all about creating storylines. I mean, they say making money, but also as a fan, I want to see more basketball. I want to see more meaningful basketball.
Exactly.
We talk about the regular season not mattering. Now it does.
Not only does it matter, and like you said, like the Timberwolves, they're 7 games ahead of the 8 seed. It's like, maybe they don't have to prove it as much, but like look at the 8, 9, and 10. They're like all right next to each other. Like those 3 deserve to fight for the 8th seed. And like if the Timberwolves really were 8 games better than the 8th seed, then they should dominate them come the play-in game. So we'll see.
Yep.
And I think the play-in was a great move by the NBA. I've liked it ever since it's been in and implemented, and I think it's great. I really keep it rolling. Why not, Joseph? Why not the play-in tournament?
So you have the Celtics as your pick right now in the East.
No, I'm not going to go that far, but I will say I've just been looking them over, and I've been insanely impressed with them. And I'm saying you better keep your eye out for them and the Miami Heat. That's another team that I would. Okay. Obviously, they're not really sleepers because they're the freaking number 1 seed in. I don't know what the Heat are right now, but.
Heat are 1 right now.
Yeah, but okay, it's not really sleepers, but like. When you think of like who's going to win the finals, you don't the Heat and Celtics are not the first 2 teams that come in your head. You think of the Sixers, the Nets, the Bucks, the high stack team. But I strongly believe that the Celtics and Heat are 2 teams that like people should definitely keep their eyes on because I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah. If you had to give a finals matchup right now, go. Who's it?
I'm going to go Miami. See, this is where it gets.
I think there's only one team in the West that is coming out, in my opinion.
I'm going to have to go with the Suns, bro, because I really like the Suns.
I think the Suns are too good.
I think the Suns are way too good. I think they just broke the franchise record for most wins. I think their team chemistry and the way they look. Chris Paul came back earlier than expected. He's been balling out. Mikal Bridges has been playing his defensive role perfectly on the Suns. DeAndre Ayton has been an amazing 5 for them. Devin Booker is freaking Devin Booker. Like, you can't go wrong with that guy. The whole Suns team has been playing so well together, and they're well coached. I don't see any team in the West beating them in a 7-game series. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
I think right now it's going to be a rematch of last year. As boring as that is to say, Giannis is too good, and I think the Suns are too good. So I would have to say Bucks, Suns right now. I can see the Sixers. They played really well last night. No, yeah, the Sixers have. But
the thing, it's hard because James Harden literally has been there for like a month, bro. Like it's so hard to ask them to have good chemistry with him, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel, and Tobias Harris. Like it's hard for them just to grab chemistry. So but like again though, if they can build chemistry, that's not a team you want to mess with either. Not at all.
No, not at all. Should we talk a little bit? Just go over what your final takes for March Madness are before we get into top.
First off, one of the best March Madnesses ever, in my opinion. Yeah. It was freaking amazing. Great games, great storylines. It was a freaking awesome March Madness. I've loved every second of it.
It's a lot more fun when you get the champion right.
Exactly. I was just gonna bring that up, Joseph. Getting Kansas right, getting that pick. Felt great. It felt great to see them come out on top. It felt great to see them. UNC is a phenomenal team. I give them all the props in the world. And it was an amazing championship game, but overall, I'm so happy to see Kansas win. They deserve every single second of it. They played amazing and one of the largest comebacks in NCAA tournament, the championship history, which was so cool to watch. Overall, I love the tournament, Joseph. Seeing Coach K go out the way he did. Didn't shake hands after the game. He cried, and then he basically said, these guys, they won 2 different championships. They won the moral happiness of it all. They're crying because they work so. Just shut your mouth, okay? You're done. Coach K is dead. He's irrelevant. Life is good. And when I woke up that day and saw they lost, I woke up in my bed with a smile on my face. And that right there is what I like to call a perfect March Madness, Joseph.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. I loved it, every minute of it. I think Kansas is going to go. It's interesting because I mean, maybe this is just me, but I still don't feel like you can look back and say they were the best year. They were the best team. They just were the ones who put on the best performance in the tournament, won every game that came at them. They didn't always have the hardest matchups. They got a lot of lucky breaks, but that's how you got to play it. And there's only one team that won it all, and it's Kansas. They're not a historically amazing team. They don't have the best players in the entire world. But you know what? They won the championship, and they got the confetti. Speaking of confetti, I don't know if I feel like the confetti did not fall as fat. Like, I looked at the Villanova North Carolina game. The confetti, like, the minute the shot went down, it was all over the court. And this time it was like fluttering down. I was like, that's kind of anticlimactic. Anyway, Kansas got the confetti to fall. It was blue and red. That's all that matters. They won it all.
It's pretty. It's an interesting observation, Joseph. I did not observe that.
I would say, yeah. Anyone who
definitely something
who didn't see it, go watch the difference.
Something to look into. All right, Joseph. Should we run into our top three here? Get into our top three.
Let's do it.
So, Joseph beat me again.
Yeah.
I have been.
And this one was.
I have been on.
Pretty dominant.
I have been on a cold streak. I don't understand. I to be honest with you, I really don't. I don't see it. I don't see this list. Especially last week. That was brutal all around. I don't see how I lost. Whatever. I'm not even gonna get into it.
Recount. We need a recount.
No, we're not even gonna get into it. Is it?
So you gotta win. You gotta win 3 straight here. You gotta.
Yeah, I mean,
we're
looking brutal here, Joseph. 3-2 in the series.
Mm-hmm.
This week we are gonna go in with our top 3 sports sounds.
Sports sounds.
Sounds you hear in sports, whether you're in a game, a practice, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds that you hear while playing a sport. We're going to give our top 3 for it. I'm going to start us off this week.
Go ahead.
With my number 3, I'm going with a pure iron shot in golf.
Oh, okay. Yep.
You get on between 120 to 200 away. If you get a pure iron shot, you just clip the grass so perfectly. And you just hear that pure divot that you make. That is that sound in a quiet golf course is truly something to behold. I'm putting that on my number 3.
I've never experienced that sound in real life because when I use it,
I don't get it often, Joseph.
I usually just miss the ball.
Right.
So.
No, we don't get it often, Joseph. But when we do, oh boy, we do. At number 2,
what's number 2?
I'm going bowling strike. When you get a strike in bowling and all those pins,
so
when you throw that ball. And you just see it on that line. It's like it's on a tightrope. And it's going in hot towards those pins. And you take them all out. And you hear the clanks of all the pins falling down. It really gets you going. You feel it right in your heart. That's nice. It truly is special.
That is something I have experienced.
Yeah, so I'm putting that in my number 2. And my number 1, I think we all could have expected this. We all knew it was coming. We're going with the swish in basketball. As a person who is in love with the game and has been playing basketball since I was 2 years old, even probably before that, hearing that swish is a really special feeling. Whether you're in the gym practicing alone, whether you're in a game, whatever, hearing that swish. And it depends on some nets are longer, some are shorter, but any net any basketball hoop that has a net in it and you hear that swish is an unbelievable feeling. Same with a chain. If you get a chain swish,
oh yeah,
come on, you can't go wrong with that. That is my list, Joseph. Joseph, now we are on to you.
Yeah, so I like your picks. I'm going to go 3 different ones just to add some variety here. My number 3 is, let's see here, football pads smacking against each other. A hard hit where the shoulder pads just clap right together.
Right.
It's just satisfying. You can hear the pad just rumble. Number 3 is football pads smacking into each other.
I like that one.
Number 2 is a slap shot in hockey.
Okay.
When the puck is gliding across the ice, soft, smooth, then all of a sudden you hear the quick of the stick as that puck slides off the stick. It echoes throughout the hockey stadium. It's a great sound. And number 1, I'm going to go with the crack of a bat on a baseball home run.
Can't go wrong with that one. That's an honorable mention for me, folks.
Okay. When that thing is, it's gone.
Oh yeah.
When you feel it coming off the bat, it's gone. Everyone in the stadium know it's gone. Maybe throw in a little bat flip there. I'm going with the crack of the bat. The bat doesn't necessarily have to crack, but when it does.
When you're at that ballpark, Joseph, and you hear that wooden bat hit that cracked ball, gone. It is a special sound.
It's nice.
No, Joseph, you are completely. That's a great list. I think we both hit it on the list there. And I love that we had 3 different each. I think that gives it an unbelievable variety. The people are really going to have to vote for this one on what they really believe. That is it for our portion. I think it's time to move on to our guest.
Yes, sir.
I'm very excited for this interview. This is a good friend of mine. I've known him almost since I was very, very young. He's a talented soccer player, great guy. Can't wait to interview him. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Devin Padelford. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is our guest. This is a special one. I needed this one. I told him I needed him on. I told him he needed to come on. We got here a 19-year-old professional soccer player. For me, and he's in the same grade as me and Joseph, except we start a podcast and he signs with a professional soccer team. Yes, there is a difference. So, Devin, I'm gonna shoot you with probably. I'm gonna want you to introduce yourself to the people. Give us a quick rundown of who you are, how you came up. Give us a rundown here.
Yeah, no, Devin Padelford, as Evan said. Met Evan through playing basketball, actually, in the AAU circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Been a long time friend of mine, but I grew up in Maplewood, Minnesota, and actually went to Woodbury High School. Graduated there in 2021. Played club soccer at St. Croix Academy, which is located in Stillwater. Great experience there. Played there for about 8 years of my life. Went to the Minnesota United Academy, balled out there for the last 2 years, or, did well enough to get first team coach's eyes, and went to first team preseason. And after the preseason, the season started, and I got a contract I couldn't turn down, and now we're here.
What a story. What was your first thought when you got that call or meeting that you found out you were going to get a pro contract? You were offered a pro contract. What was that feeling? How'd you feel?
Oh man, just all the emotions you could think of, times more than you could imagine. Just sitting there and hearing the words when the coach told me hey, we want to offer you this full-time contract, we're going to send it over to you and your family. I couldn't believe it. I remember just going home and telling my mom and dad, and they just both gave me just a humongous hug and were like, this is unbelievable. And just a dream come true, man. Little kid moment.
What's that process so you're playing soccer your whole life, right? And then you get to, so it's the Minnesota United 19U club, is that right?
Yes, U19 Academy Club. That's where I first joined.
So is that something you try out for, or do they come to you for that?
Typically, so to give a rundown on the academy started a while ago, obviously, and then COVID happened, so it shut down. And then they rebooted it back up in the fall of 2020 is when they had the tryouts. And I was kind of in the system before. They wanted me to play there before it got shut down, but I kind of turned it down because they wanted me to play a position I didn't like and stuff like that. And it just went a different path. And then I randomly got an email November 2020, my parents said, about the tryouts. And, just kind of went and did the tryout process. It was a very long process. I think it was 500 kids at the open tryouts went, and they kept 18 to 20 guys. And, it was a continuous you made it to this cut, you made it to this cut, you made it to this cut, you made it to this cut. And it was just a slow, probably didn't know I got a full-time spot on the U19 team till this last summer. In late June, got a call from the coach saying, hey, we want to give you a full-time academy spot. Do you want to take it, or are you going to go try and play in school? And I was like, no, I'll take a gap year and I'll do this full-time. And it was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Did you have D1 offers, or was that something you hadn't got to the process yet?
That's a funny part is
he was committed.
my recruiting was, well, no, the commitment part was after the fact. We'll get to that, but before I was deciding between Wisconsin Green Bay and U19 Academy, which there's Wisconsin Green Bay is a great school. It's just like it's a lower level, obviously closer to home. So I thought taking a chance in the academy, maybe I'll get bigger schools to reach out or stuff like that, or obviously to have a chance to make the first team. But yeah, college recruitment was very rough during the COVID times because I had only local D3 schools. Only got the Green Bay offer towards the end of my recruitment, like probably late July, late June, maybe a little before. But it was hard, man. It was hard.
So, so you're going through all this recruitment and stuff, and you're deciding schools and whether what you're gonna do. But I had noticed that you posted on your Instagram that you were committed to St. Louis. So tell me how
Yes.
that works. Tell me how that goes down.
So my college recruitment was crazy. So then, I get the full-time spot in the academy, start playing. We do our fall season. Um, Really fun, great experience. We go to the biggest showcase in all of youth soccer in California over December, the first weekend of December. And every school you can think of is there. And, I was thinking, this is my chance to have these big schools finally see me. I was already in contact with a couple of schools and they were coming to watch. And our first game down in California played really well. Second game played really well. And I remember being at the showcase, I get a text from Maryland University, DePaul University, a couple other universities, but Maryland is kind of like a Duke University program
Hmm.
of soccer. And I remember getting that text, and it was just a surreal moment. But joining the academy and playing in that showcase kind of took my recruitment from like bottom of the barrel, and it just skyrocketed. And I had multiple schools reaching out to me, and then uh, St. Louis kind of came late in the process, Evan, now that you bring that up. But they were, St. Louis is another powerhouse program in soccer, and they brought me an offer to me and my parents that was just really good. And I had been there before and watched a game there, and it was just a great experience, great coaching staff. So, yeah, but the thing with being signed, when I signed my NLI and, I'm telling them, hey, I'm going to the first team preseason and all this. And, they're excited, obviously, because, there's been players in the past where, like, they've gone to school and then being in an academy system, the club can just kind of go, hey, we want to bring you back
Right.
and we're going to sign you pro. But, yeah, it was definitely tough to, give the call to the guys like, hey, they're offering me a pro contract.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, you got to
It was a
understand.
good, yeah,
Yeah.
they understood completely, it was a mutual thing and we kind of, it was just like, hey, you got to go do that. And they understood fully, but it definitely did suck because I was looking forward to, playing college
Hmm.
soccer. But when you can get to a pro level, you want to be in that environment because it's going to level you up
Yep.
just 1,000 times quicker.
Speaking of that, how has that transition been? I mean, you went from playing in high school at Woodbury in Minnesota to now you're playing with basically the best soccer players in the entire United States of America, and possibly not. I'm not gonna say world because we're not in Europe here, but in the United States of America, these are the best soccer players. Like, how is that with them
No,
every day, and like,
yeah,
what is that like?
yeah, totally. I mean, when I first got that text message about preseason, it was like, holy crap, like this is going to be nuts. But the biggest thing I noticed is just you got to have trust in yourself. They brought you here for a reason, and you got to just have trust in your ability and have confidence. But at first, it was definitely not the best. I remember my first day; it was a scrimmage, and the game was just so fast. Everyone's so quick. Everything's 1, 2 touch passes around you. Everyone's quicker. But I think as the preseason went on and the time went on, you slowly adjust to your environment. And I think I've, done well for what I can as at this moment. I think I get better in it every day.
Are there a lot of like 19 and 18 other 19 and 18-year olds like
Yeah,
on your
so
team?
that's the thing is there's one other kid, Fred Emmings, who is St. Paul born too, who signed the same type of contract as me, which is a homegrown deal. He's a 18-year-old goalie. And
Mm.
then we have a couple 20-year-old, like one or two 20-year-olds. And then we got 22, 23, 24. And then you go upwards to about 28, 33-year-olds. I'd say the oldest guy on our team is probably 33.
Right, right. Oh wow,
So
that's kind of
it's definitely, yeah, there's age gaps for sure, but being one of the youngest on the team isn't always the best. because they're
They're gonna
gonna
heckle you
look
a
to
little
pick
bit.
on you sometime. Yeah, they're gonna haze you into the league a
Yeah.
little bit, but no, everyone's great, man. Just I love being around the guys and getting closer with them, and we got a great locker room, man.
So they switched you. Tell me if I'm right on this. They switched you from center forward to left back. Was that something that they just when they brought
Yes.
you in?
So growing up, I was always either playing outside forward or up top, or attacking midwise. And when I got to the academy, the coaches kind of looked at me and were like, "Hey, we think you could be even better here. Like, it's not like saying we don't think you can play where you are. We just think you can excel at a different level here at this position." I was like, "All right. I mean, I'll give it a try. It's still the left side of the field. I'm left-footed." And ever since then, I've just kind of taken it and ran with it. And I've enjoyed every little bit of it, getting better and learning new things about it.
So I'm looking on the Instagram here of the United FC. It seems you guys just had a match against the Sounders. So I don't. It looks like you didn't play in it. When am I going to be able to go into Heinz Field and have you and be able to watch you play on this team? Tell me how that process works and how that goes.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, there is a second team that we have, and a lot of guys who aren't playing the first team. Us younger guys. We get minutes in that team. So we actually had a game Sunday at Allianz Field against Sporting Kansas City's pro second team, and that was an ecstatic feeling to play in the stadium finally, and
Mm-hmm.
have my family come and watch me. Uh, but yeah, it's hard for sure, to get into that lineup. I'm always pushing to try and make the squad sheet, but you got to take the highs with the lows, and you just got to keep keeping your head down and just work every day. And when the time comes, you got to take advantage of it.
So you're Maple Grove guy, right?
Maplewood, Maplewood.
Maplewood. Okay. I don't think you ever played Centennial. Probably not. Trying to think. Did you ever? I don't think you ever played us at Centennial in your high school career, did you?
No, I don't think I ever got up there, but I knew you guys were always pretty good my
Yeah, we
3 years.
see. I'm not. We're not going to talk about my soccer skills. They are not great, but my buddies are. They had a very very successful high school career, and it was three back to back, almost state finals or appearances. So it's a great soccer culture in Minnesota. How's that like playing as a high school in Minnesota and also being a pro in Minnesota? Like, what's the benefit that you have there? Is there more like connections that you have already had through playing high school here?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it helps. I mean, just from like my standpoint, I think it's awesome being just a hometown kid and being able to play in your hometown. Like, I don't think anything could ever beat that. Like, just being there and have everyone say, that's the hometown kid. Like, it just adds a whole nother perspective for fans. Like, like seeing like, oh, this kid could do that. Like, I just want to be like something that people can look up to. Like, I want Minnesota kids to think like, hey, I can do this. Like, I can play for Minnesota United. Like, no matter what I'm doing right now. Like, I was fortunate enough to play every level of soccer here with MLS Next, Youth Academy, club soccer, high school. It doesn't matter where you're playing if you can just get in the right environments and the right areas and people take notice. You're going to get opportunities, I think, and I think Minnesota soccer players are only getting better. From guys going and playing at D1 colleges and representing well, us getting a D1 school finally in St. Thomas, us getting a D2 school in St. Cloud, the Minnesota United second team now. Like, I think soccer here, it's just only going upward. And it's super exciting to see because growing up, it wasn't always the best environment, but these past 5, 10 years, I think it's never been better.
Yeah, I
Take
definitely
take
agree
it
with you
take
on
it
that.
take us through our your day to day. Like what's the day to day of a pro soccer player?
Yeah, definitely amazing. I mean, like, I can't complain. I mean, I wake up about 8 a.m., get ready, put the clothes on and stuff, brush your teeth. And then the facility is located in Blaine, so it's about a 25-30 minute drive for me, drive to the facility. Probably get to the facility about 9:15 a.m. Eat breakfast with the guys in the calf, and then I'd say training is usually 10:30 to 12ish, 11:30, depending on the day, maybe longer. And it kind of depends if I want to stay out longer, do some extra stuff that I feel I need to get work on. Maybe I'm there. I'd say I'm probably out of there by, well, then I have to go and eat lunch too, is by like 1. And I'd say I'm probably out of there by 1:32-ish on an average day. And then you go home and just, chill out or lay down, take a nap, do whatever you want, play some video games with the guys, hang out with family. But yeah, man, it's you can't complain.
That's the life.
We get everything you can ask for.
Is that the facility that's the one that's by the NSC, like behind that
Yes,
stadium?
yes,
Okay,
we are connected. We are connected to
gotcha.
NSC.
Because I
Hmm.
remember whenever we'd play there or play on that like turf field where the NSC stadium
Hmm.
is, we'd always hear the guys yelling at each other across the fence at the
Yeah, yeah.
United facility, and that was
Oh
funny.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
Um,
kind of wild actually, because the first time I ever watched Devin play soccer in my entire life was on that field, like the one where that United field is
hmm
now. It used to
Yeah.
not be a field. I watched him. He played with can't
It was
remember the
a guest
country.
play, Costa Rica.
Oh,
It
he
was
was
a
playing
Costa Rica
with.
team.
Yeah, that's what it was. And you were
Was
you
that for
see,
the
yeah, you got
USA
asked
Cup?
for the USA Cup, and you were
Yeah,
playing on
it
that
was a
field.
USA Cup.
It's the
Yeah, it
first time
was
I ever saw him play.
That's
God,
an
we were
awesome
like
event, dude.
we were in like fifth grade. Or God, we were
yeah,
young.
man. That was a while ago,
We were
man.
really young. Well,
The
the
Hmm.
thing
USA Cup.
that has always been so wild with Devin that I've always thought is Devin's always had this just underdog mentality. Like, I don't care who I'm about to go against. I don't care what's about to happen. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna give it my all, and I'm gonna give you my best. So when you come in and you got that mentality, and you're coming in and you're going against, I don't know much of your teammates or anything, but I bet you're going against some dogs, some soccer players with skill
Oh
level and
yeah,
talent you've never seen before, like just
one
animals.
100%. Yeah,
Does your mentality of your underdog, like I don't care who you are, does that help you when you're out in practice and going against these guys every day?
yeah, for sure. I mean, like we got guys that are from all over the place. We've got a couple guys from France. Some guys from Argentina. Guys where they
Correct me
grew
if
up
I'm
like
wrong. The guy from France is your. Who's the one? There's one that just came from France. That's the highest paid player. He was like your better. He's from France, or who is that guy?
that is Adrian Huno.
Yep.
Hmm.
I looked into him before that he
Hmm.
look. See again, like that guy. Like, how do you have that mentality when you're going into practice, going against him every day? You know what I mean?
No, yeah, and I think, that's a great question. I think it just you go into it, like everyday life, like where I'm meant to be on that field with him, right? Like they wouldn't have given me a contract if they didn't think I was meant to be on that field with him. So again, it's kind of just that self-confidence and that trust in yourself and your ability, what got you there, maybe make him go into an area where you can dominate him or, force him, learn his mistakes after a while you've been with him. But no, I mean, I definitely think at first I was like, holy crap, like this is the hardest thing ever. Like I don't know if I'll ever be on the level of these guys when I was first there, but each day, like I said, I mean, you just feel yourself get better when you're in that environment. It's like a contagious feeling from everybody. Everyone expects a higher level from you, and you push yourself to that higher level. So I think, yeah, just having self trust and just always being confident in yourself is what gets you to succeed in the pro lifestyle I've seen.
Now, outside of soccer, what people want to know what are you doing? What are your passions? Obviously, when you're pro athlete, it's got to take up a lot of your headspace. But outside of soccer, what
Yeah.
are some of your passions?
Um. Of recent, I mean, I have a girlfriend. Obviously, I've had a girlfriend for about a year and a half, so I'm usually hanging out with
Ooh.
her. Um. Video games here and there. I'm a big FIFA guy for the most part.
Hmm.
I haven't gotten into it too much this year, but love to play FIFA, Warzone, Fortnite with all the guys. Whatever, whatever new games out and a couple of the guys want to play, we'll play sometimes. Yeah, but I just say, hanging out with friends and family too. That's the main thing is, living at home this first year, obviously, always being around my family and just talking with them, I think is a big thing I like to do.
Now, FIFA, that's a game that gets me that gets me very mad, man. Like,
Oh yeah, it can get the
whew,
best of you, that's for sure, real
there have
quick.
been some bad moments, bro. Some bad moments.
I've had a few too. Don't worry, don't worry.
Have So let's get. You said you're really close to your family. So Ron is your
Oh yeah,
pops. That's pops.
yeah.
You got your mom, your dad, you got your brother, and your two sisters.
Hmm.
You said you've been spending a lot of time with your family, being at home, and just what. But what people don't know is that your family has been close your whole life. You know, your dad has been bringing you
Mm-hmm.
around to basketball and soccer tournaments since you were in fourth grade around the country.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you know, I mean, even your mom and both your sisters and your brother, like you guys just seem like you're a very close, tight knit family. Um,
Mm-hmm.
how have they impacted you? How have they brought you to where you are today? And how do they help you day to day now that you're a professional soccer player at 19 years old? How do they get you through the days?
No, the biggest thing about my parents is they've always they've always been all in on me too. Is like that's the biggest thing, they've made the sacrifices of driving me everywhere, going out of town tournaments, bringing me to these places where you can get noticed. So the main thing my parents that I've loved is just they've always been 100% supportive of me. And one thing that I would love to say is my dad, big influence on my hard work. He was the one that kind of taught me, you got to be doing more than what the average person is doing. He kind of taught me, you got to be doing work on your off days. There can't be no such thing as an off day if you want to go pro. Like, you got to be doing more and more and more every day. So I remember when I was like 12, he would write me up little workouts that he would find on YouTube, and he'd be like, "Hey, go do this," and I just loved doing it because I felt myself getting better, and it was like a way for us to bond over soccer and such. But just him and my mom both, man, just always pushing me. That's the main thing, just being super supportive.
It's awesome.
I remember your parents telling my parents that when you were younger, you used to, if you had nights where you had soccer practice, you would go out
Hmm.
into your driveway and play basketball for an hour. And then any nights you had
Yeah.
basketball practice,
Hmm.
you would go out into the field and play soccer for an hour. So you were always making sure,
Dual
whether it was
sport
bad, I mean,
athlete.
basketball, soccer were your life growing up. No matter what you were doing, you were making sure that
Hmm.
you were getting every day those hours. And I think that clearly showed. Now we're clearly where you're at, but like I've always thought like that always stuck with me. Like, wow, like I remember I was in like fifth grade. I heard that, and we were like, and I was like, not a lot of kids are thinking like that. Like after basketball practice, oh, I better go play soccer for an hour. Like, not a lot of kids are thinking that, you know?
Yeah. It was kind of like a thing where I was like, oh, well, if I'm doing this, I can't, be bad at the next soccer practice. So it was like, I got to keep my game up, or,
Mm.
like if I want to play good on the AU team, I got to make sure I'm getting jump shots in and such. So it was just kind of like, I can't like be better at one or the other. Like, I always wanted to be just as good at the other.
Yeah, that mindset has clearly taken you to where you are today. But I would now. I think this is more of a question that I don't throw anyone under the bus. Obviously, I'm not trying to start beef here, but at your entire career, who do you think was your favorite? Not maybe not favorite, but most impactful. I guess you could say favorite teammate you've ever played with in the history of your game.
Oh man, that's a good one.
You can have a couple if you need to, but
Yeah.
I just who would have
Most,
been the names that have really put an
Or most
impact in your soccer
impactful,
career?
most
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
challenging.
mm, yeah, okay.
Go get some boys on the pod here. Get some names out here. Get some shout outs.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So soccer base, you said?
Yeah, we'll get basketball right after this one. We'll get some
Yeah,
basketball ones
okay,
after.
okay. Soccer based, I would probably have to say my buddy Hayden Boych, who I grew up playing with I probably played with him about 6 years of my life at St. Croix. He was just a guy that he always knew how to get the best out of me if I was playing bad, or he was just another team leader like me. He had the same mindset as me, set same goals, always wanted to get better, but he was just a guy that was willing to give it his all 24/7. And I always like if Hayden was able to be putting in the work, I would notice it, and it would make me want to work even harder. And it was just a great thing.
Okay.
Um, I'd say I got a couple, man. Some St. Croix boys, because that's where a lot of my life was. Another one I'd say is man, it's hard though when you try and single them down.
Shout out the whole team, man.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I would love to just shout out that whole team, but another player would be Alex Hager. That was another one. He's played on my St. Croix team. Just like I said, just a hard worker. Worked in silence, wasn't loud or anything. Let his play talk for him. And I just loved that he wasn't, a big ego kid. He just worked for everything he ever wanted, and it kind of stuck with me in ways. Seeing him at practices.
It's awesome.
That is awesome. Well, Devin, I actually know I'm going to do one more question here. Basketball now. Now, basketball was a huge part of your life. You grew up playing basketball. You were But were you all conference your senior year?
Yeah, I was all conference
Yeah.
junior and senior year.
Junior
So
and
yeah,
so yeah, you were a
Dang.
2-year starter. I mean, you've been playing basketball your whole life. You played on the best AAU teams. You were a very good basketball player. Now obviously you probably I think we can all agree that your soccer level was obviously better than your basketball considering you're playing
yeah,
pro soccer.
yeah,
But
yeah.
um playing basketball, how did playing basketball and soccer, like how did those two help each other? You know, that I mean, they're kind of separate, really different sports in a lot of different ways. What, like, how do those two help each other and correlate almost?
Yeah, I think they correlated greatly because it would be, it's a lot of running in both, you know. You're running up and down in basketball, obviously, but a lot of similar movements that you really wouldn't notice. But like me playing, like defending wise in basketball and soccer is very similar. You know, it's kind of like a watching hips thing, watching the ball. So I kind of felt like my defending in basketball was one of my strong suits. So when I'd go into soccer practices and 1v1 defending, I would just be unbelievable at it because I would just take what I knew from basketball and then incorporate it into that kind of, and it would help me out a lot. And but no, from the running aspect, I think it helped me a lot playing the two sports because for soccer it would just make me even more fit, and for basketball I would never get tired. So just playing, like the biggest advice I have for kids now, bringing this up, play as many sports as you can for as long as you can because there's no point in just singling out one sport and going, hey, I just want to be good at this. Because the more likely you are to just play that sport, you're probably going to quit sooner because you're doing it every day and it's the same thing over and over. And you're like, that's what I noticed in a lot of kids. They would play, like, they would be like, oh, I'm going to do 50, go to all these different workout people and, be like, hey, I need to do this, I need to do that. And it's like, I would get my workload from, playing multiple different sports and, get better at different things personally, learning experiences. But that was just the biggest thing is, like just learning from each sport. And like you said, things like correlated similarly that I would notice playing them that helped. And I was just grateful that I was able to play the sports as long as I could throughout my life.
That's a great
That's
answer.
awesome.
Now, Joseph, you got anything else for him before we let him go here?
No, man, I'm excited for you, and that I mean, it makes me feel bad about myself being not a professional athlete at 19. But man, it is impressive what you've been able to do. We'll be cheering on the Loons this year. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, it's just amazing, and thank you guys again for bringing me on. And it was
Of
super
course.
fun.
Yep, Devin's our guy. He's going to be our guy on the pod, our first soccer guy, not our first pro athlete, unfortunately, but he was our first soccer player. Yep, no, he's our guy now. He is our guy. We're going to cheer him on. We're going to keep things going and rolling for him.
Plenty of
All
career
right,
ahead.
that's it for the pod. We
All
appreciate
right.
all you listening. Thank you for coming on, Devin. Thank you for giving us your word. I know well, maybe not a busy man, but you got stuff going on. So we appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk with us. And that has been another episode of Far From Pro.
Awesome. Peace.